So I'm just thinking out loud, and yes, I need to shave. And my thoughts were the problem with God. And when I say this, I'm not necessarily talking about the theology of God, which we can go there. But in this case, I'm more so thinking of the linguistics of God, the linguistics of the word God. In the Bible, this word God is used in several different places. And to be clear, in the English translation of the Bible, this word God is used to describe, at least in the mainstream's view, this one central unified character, who is one, and sometimes three. Anyway, but okay, so much so that in this country, you have sayings such as God bless America, indivisible under God. And I find that problematic primarily because God is not a name, that's just like saying, dog bless America. I have a dog, I have a beagle. It could be equally like saying beagle bless America. But see, that beagle has a name, and that name is Aston. So if I were to say Aston bless America, then I have no linguistic problem there. But when you say dog bless America, it's like, which dog? You say beagle bless America, which beagle? And so this word God is not a name, but it's generic. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, so all right, so that's problematic for me to begin with, that this word is generic. How do you know that? Because we use the word God to describe a variety of gods. All the gods are gods. Zeus is a god. Who's that? There's a lot of them. Hercules is a god. Amun is a god. Aten is a god. Kansu is a god. So you have a lot of gods. I think I said Hercules. Hercules is not a god, but he's half god, like Jesus. But Jesus depends on which circles, right? But the whole point is God is a generic. It's a generic misnomer. It's the same type of word as dog. It's the same type of word as person, mankind, man, humanity. But it does not answer the question of which, who. It has no specificity to it. It's generic. And these are my thoughts, And so even when someone says, I believe in God. Now, if you're from a Christian context, and you hear someone say, I believe in God, many times your automatic assumption is that, oh yeah, they believe in the God that I believe in. But that's not what that word demonstrates, and then again, there's over 45,000 different denominations of Christianity. So even that is not saying much, So you say, oh, I believe in God, or you say, even I believe in the Christian God. Well, which version of the Christian God do you believe in? Do you believe in the Trinity version, the triune version, the Calvinist version, the Arminian version, Protestant version, Catholic version? It can almost be an infinite regression. Linguistically, and I've kind of rabbit trailed there a little bit, but I'm just talking. I'm literally getting ready to go into the store, and then after that, pick up my son. But so this other problem I have, because I have this linguistic problem, this other problem for me is who made the decision to use this generic word when in the scriptures, in most of those cases, there is a specific word there. Now, I'll give you room with Yahweh, or what we sometimes transliterate as Jehovah, which comes from this tetragrammaton. I'll give you room with that one. But when it says El, why not just say El? So in the beginning, there was El, is actually how that would read, or actually Elohim, sorry. But when it says Elohim, why not translate to Elohim? That'd be that Hebrew name, and that is it's already transliterated into English there, translated into English, so Elohim is an English word, name, so then you can say Elohim. And then where's Yahweh? Sure, go Yahweh, Jehovah. But then where's Adonai? Adonai. And then where it's El. But because that's what you do when it's Asherah or when it's Baal, you know. And so I just find it funny that, but that everywhere that it says is, you know, if it's El, Elohim, Yahweh, Adonai, or any of these other names, any of the names I guess we've assigned as the good names, we've just transliterated that to just God, or in some cases, the Lord. And I just find that funny because doesn't that seem a little disingenuous? So like if you had this story, and this story was like, you know, Bob does this in Genesis chapter 1. And then Jonathan does this in Genesis chapter 2, starting in verse 4. And this is kind of how it reads. And then at another time, this other guy named Mark shows up. And so far you got 3 characters, Bobby, you know, we just call him Johnny, and Mark. You got these 3 characters, but then somebody says, oh, I like that version, but let's just do this. Let's give him this name, man. And so now you read it and it says, okay, in Genesis chapter 1, man does this. And then Genesis chapter 2, man does this. And then in another place, man does this. Well, see, now, unless I'm talking about all of humanity, or I'm talking about this symbolically of all humanity, I've taken 3 different identities, 3 different characters, and merged them into one, and have completely changed the story. And so that just seems a little disingenuous to me. Those are my thoughts.